everybody, and welcome to another video by me, Peter, for the Esoteric Order of Gamers. And today we're going to look at something different. It's a modular terrain set in epic scale from Warcradle miniatures. And I can hear saying, what? Warcradle does dystopian wars. What's this modular terrain set about? In epic scale, what's going on? Well, I'm going to explain what is going on to you very, very soon if you stick with me and watch this video. Before we get started, the folks at Warcradle sent me this for free. They in fact sent me two sets, and I'm not getting paid for these videos, and my opinions are always my own. So enough of that guff, let's get into the Dystopian industrial set. So what is this, I hear you ask? Well, it's a modular set where you can make epic scale plastic terrain for epic scale miniature games. Now, of course, the one that will spring to mind for you straight away is Legions Imperialis by Games Workshop. Now, I've played it just once. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it. I intend to do a battle report when I get back from holiday. And in that battle report, I'm going to be showing off these buildings because I have built some of them, put them together, and I'm going to paint these up and make sure they're shown off in that battle report. So look out for that. But in this set, you get some really nice terrain, and it's fully compatible with Legions Imperialis. But not just Legions Imperialis. There are two other epic games coming out. Epic scale seems to be all the rage suddenly. I've always loved it since way back in the Adeptus Titanicus original game days and the Space Marine and epic games that followed that. Something about epic scale, when you get big, big armies on the table and tiny, tiny scale, they just look fantastic. And there's a big sense of sweeping battles. It's fantastic. So what are these two other games, I hear you ask? Well, one of them is going to be by Mantic Games. Mantic Games are going to be releasing an epic scale miniatures game as well. And Warcradle themselves are going to release one. It's going to be called Armoured Clash. They have it slated for this year, 2024. And it's going to be set in the Dystopian Wars universe, which is the steampunk Victoriana universe. It's going to be very much tank focused, lots of tanks and things, but there is going to be infantry, and apparently you'll be also seeing things like hovercraft and walkers and stuff as well. So that is based on an old Spartan Games game. Spartan Games were the company that originally made Dystopian Wars. Warcradle took it over and revamped it completely. So they're no doubt revamping this particular game for their own universe and their own rules as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. Steampunk epic battles sounds fantastic to me. And the great thing about this particular set is that you can use these buildings for all three of those games. They're all around the same scale. I think Legions Imperialis is around 8mm scale. This one's about, Armoured Clash is going to be about 10mm scale. So they all work together rather nicely. And in fact, I'll show you these compared to some Adeptus Titanicus buildings in a moment. I'm not getting the words out today. And you can see how well they go with those buildings. So first I'll show you what's in the box when you get this box. And you get quite a lot. Here's our rulebook that shows you how to put, well, let's say rulebook instruction book, shows you how to put it together. Now, when I first looked at this book, I went, oh my goodness, that's confusing. There's all these rules and pictures and it's all thing. However, don't panic. It is actually a very modular, easy to pick up system. Once you get the hang of the system, you can throw this away and just concentrate on making up the buildings that you want to make up. Now, there are two different sprues in here, but you get a lot of them. Look at that. Lovely. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprues, and you get two different types. And basically, this sprue here is mainly roofs and walls, and you get a whole lot of other pieces, which I'll explain in a moment. And then this sprue here, you've got a big 4-tile size roof and some double section pieces vertically and horizontally, and then all kinds of roof pieces and lots of other bits and bobs. I'll show you those. So that's how you get it. Now, I will say these do take a bit of time to make. They're fiddly, and the main thing that you're going to be spending all the time doing is cutting these out and then shaving off the little nubbins where you've cut it out of the sprue. That does take a lot of time because, as you can see, there's lots of fiddly little bits. And chopping all these out and then cleaning them up takes a while. I actually recommend, once you get the hang of how the modular system works, just chop out all of the ones of the same type and then just clean them up and have a little pile of them. So when you start doing the actual building, you can just reach into your pile and get that piece. And as you can see, I've already made little baggies full of the different types. And then you can concentrate on your design for the building that you're making. Now, talking about the design for the building, I do have one criticism about this set. I'm really happy with these buildings. They look great and they're fantastic. However, they made one big boo-boo. And I actually wrote to Warcradle about this. And they said, yeah, but... And what they did is on the cover of the box, you can see there are 4 building designs. Now, you cannot actually make all of these 4 buildings with what you get in the set. There's only one wall missing, which is really frustrating. If they had one more wall, you could make up everything in here. Now, when I wrote to them and I said, you can't make these buildings on the cover, that doesn't seem fair. They wrote back and said, well, if you look at the back here, down the corner it says, buildings shown are created as examples. Contents can be built in multiple configurations. See inside for details. So it's fair enough. I mean, this is a modular set. You don't have to build these particular ones. But I think if you put 4 buildings on the outside of the box, you should be able to build those 4 buildings with the contents of the box. I think they dropped the ball on that one, but just be aware of that. You can still make 4 great buildings. You just can't make quite this much because you're missing one wall. Of course, if you happen to have 2 sets like I do, then, it's not a problem. But keep that in mind. You still get a lot in the box. I mean, it's very generous. You can see you get, a pack full of sprues, and you can make up, you're probably looking about 4 different buildings of roughly this size. But this last building, instead of being one with a roof like that, it just had to be a square one like that because I didn't have one wall. So just keep that in mind, and don't be surprised when you find, I wanted to build those particular buildings. They're just suggestions, and you don't get enough to build them. However, you do get enough to build, several buildings, and because it's modular, you can build it in any style you want. So you could build just one big building if you wanted to, several stories high. Basically, if you're really into terrain, you probably want to get yourself a few of these packs if you can. And I'm sure they're a lot more affordable than Games Workshop ones. So what do they look like? Well, check them out. I mean, they're pretty impressive. And there's a lot of lovely detail on the walls and the roofs. The good thing is that the level of detail is just enough to give it that sort of gothic, steampunky kind of feel, but it's not over the top Games Workshop, insane amounts of detail. So it actually sits well in the dystopian universe by itself, but it also can work in, the gothic universe of Games Workshop. And, probably works fine for the Mantic one as well. So you can see some impressive setups, and it's all made from this cube arrangement. So let me show you. I've almost finished this one, so I can show you how basic layout works. So they're all made up of roofs and walls, as you can see. So if I get this final wall here, it just pops into position there, like that. So let's get some glue. We'll just run some glue along the top. That pops in like so, very neatly. Now, once you've got this basic wall configuration, and the roofs, of course, just pop in as well, there are all kinds of fiddly bits that make up these more elaborate corners. So the first thing you need is a base piece that goes along here. And here I've got one here that's got stairs in it, which match that little door there, but mainly they're just plain. Now, keep in mind that the ledge on this goes upwards. So the first one I made a mistake, and I made the ledge on this bottom piece go down to the bottom, but it's better like this. So let's run a bit of glue on there. And that just pops in like so. Now we've got these vertical pieces here, and I've got a whole bunch of these. These go in very easily. There's a little key system, so they just key in. So what you want to do is just run some glue down here. Get this, you can see it just keys in like that, and then you'll have another piece sticking out in this direction that keys in like that. Super easy. You get this rather nice ornate corner decoration. So it looks very neat from the top. And then finally you have these tiny little pieces, and these are the bases. So if I put some glue on the base, get this tiny little base, pop it on, Where are we? Like that. And another one like that. There's our corner. You can see from underneath how those fit in. And you do that all around and also where they join up too. So where we join up, you can see how there's lots of fiddly pieces, but once they're in, they look great. Now, if they don't fit straight away, just turn them upside down and you'll find they fit in neatly. And that just needs one piece there. Very neat. And then, of course, the base piece, bit of glue there, little base piece. And then you end up with this lovely ornate facade, which is pretty cool. Now, when you're doing the roofs, there's a flat roof like this. I still have to do this corner piece here, but there's flat roofs like that. And there are special pieces that go on the roof. You can see these bits here, and they attach on all the corners and on the flat sections as well. So instead of this kind of flat roof, you get this kind of ornate roof, which is great. So yeah, and then after that, you can start adding extra nubbins if you want to. There are some antennas, as you can see. This one has a few little gantries, not gantries, what do you call them? Cranes. There's some guns as well, pointing out if you want to have guns. Here's an entrance ramp with an entrance facade. So there's little bits of character, but in general, that's sort of the basic modular system, and it works really well. I'm really happy with the look. So let's compare this, shall we, with just some Adeptus Titanicus buildings, just to give you an idea to see if they work well together. Hold on. Okay, I'm back, and here are some Adeptus Titanicus buildings. Now, these, of course, are much more expensive because they're Games Workshop, but look how nicely they go together. Look at that. Pretty much the same scale, pretty much the same cube size almost. The general cube size of these is a little bit larger than the Games Workshop ones, but on the tabletop, when they're painted up, they will go together beautifully. Here's another one. So I think this is probably a far more affordable way of getting your epic terrain together, no matter which one of those three epic games you're playing, or if you're crazy like me, you'll be playing all three of them, because I want to try them all out and see how they all are. So, very impressive set, I think, from Warcradle. Again, only that one little problem. You've just got to be aware that if you want to build these exact buildings, you won't be able to do it with just one set. So you'll miss one wall. But don't worry about that. You can buy a set and make up different, designs from this. These are serving suggestions only, I think they'd call it. Nice set. I'm really looking forward to Dystopian Wars Armoured Clash. Steampunk epic battles in the world of Dystopian Wars. Be fantastic. Imagine you can have a big Dystopian Wars naval battle, and then you can swap over to a land-based battle with tanks and infantry. Absolutely super cool. Really looking forward to that. And in the meantime, I can use these buildings for Legions Imperialis and the epic game by Mantic when that comes out. So, I hope you've enjoyed a quick look at that and how it works, and I will see you next time on the Esoteric Order of Gamers. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Bye for now. Oh, and before you go, make sure you go along to the website at orderofgamers.com, because I have a rules and reference sheet for Dystopian Wars, which will make playing that game so much easier. I can't tell you. Go ahead and download it. I think you'll find it really, really useful. And if you do appreciate it, you can leave a donation on the website to support my work, or even better, support me on Patreon at patreon.com/esotericorder. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.